Hello and welcome to the LunaHolistic podcast and the Lightworker Call to Action series. I'm Geneva Robbins. I'm a Reiki master here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and I am so pleased to be with you today. Our topic today is Dream Big. So it's really about being called to greater service in the world with everything that's been happening. We're really being called up to move forward with our gifts and how we can help in the world and really get everybody's light activated and shining and bringing your unique talents, gifts into the world so that you can help the people that you're meant to help and really live a vibrant, lit up, powerful, wonderful life as well. Because when you're engaged in compassionate service and action, the result is always positive. It's a win-win-win for everybody. So thank you all for being here, everybody who's joining live and everyone who's joining later. I'm so happy to have you here. Before we get into the content, I just want to send a heartfelt thank you to the Indigenous people of the lands around the world. Thank you so much. And thank you if you are an Indigenous person and joining us. We're so happy to have you here. Welcome, welcome everyone. I'd like to introduce I've got a couple helpers on the line with me today. So I've got Natalia Radovanovic. She's a Reiki master here in Calgary. Say hello, Natalia.
Hello everyone. So nice to be here today.
Thank you for being here. I'm so happy to have buddies. It's so great to connect, especially when we all have to kind of keep our distance. It's nice to have you here. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Great, yeah. And Danielle Graham is also joining us. She's a Reiki master here in Calgary as well. Say hello, Danielle.
Hello. Nice to see you, Geneva. It's nice to be here on this call with everybody.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. It's really great to have you. And if you're joining live, you can always type any of your questions or messages or anything that you'd like to share with us into the chat. If you're joining later, please feel free to share your comments. Love to hear how everything works for you as we go through all of this great stuff. So I always like to start everything I do with a grounding meditation or just a few moments of meditation because I find it really helps you anchor you into the present moment, which is where all of your power, light, and guidance is. A grounding technique is a visualization basically to connect you in to the earth below your feet. It mimics the feeling of being on a long forest walk in just a few minutes. I mean, ideally, we can go on like nice long walks every day, but if you can't, doing a grounding meditation is a really great way of getting that feeling of connection with the earth and feeling really supported and nurtured. With meditation, if you're brand new to meditation, don't worry, it's really simple. It's a guided one, so I'll guide you through it. There are two practices that can really boost your meditation practice. One is closing your eyes, because when you close your eyes, you go into a deeper, more restful place within you. And slowing your breathing. So when you slow your breathing down or allow it to settle into a soft breathing pattern, it calms your heart rate. And when your heart rate is calm and your breathing is slowed to a nice settled wave, it brings a sense of calm and peace within the body. and can boost those feelings of relaxation. Don't worry if your mind is really racing, if you've had a really busy week or you've been overwhelmed. Meditation works even if you feel like you can't sit still or your thoughts are swirling. It does the work for you. It sort of clears all that stuff out so that you can take that calm, restful awareness into the rest of your days. So thank you. We'll do a grounding meditation right now. It's from my book, The Secret Art of Happiness. And it's also available on the LunaHolistic.com blog as well. So you can check out, there's a bunch of meditations there as well. So we will do that right now. So you can just get into a nice settled position. And just very gently, as you listen to this meditation, you can let your breath relax. Gently closing your eyes. Place your feet flat on the floor and bring your spine up straight. Just gently become aware of the energy of the earth just below your feet, just below the base of your spine. Notice the vast expanse of energy available to you now. This energy is wise, dependable, and nurturing. Feel the charge and character of this earth energy now. Now become aware of the energy within your body. Observe the difference or similarity between your energy and the earth's energy. Just notice this gently, easily, and with great kindness. Now, easily with your breath, allow the energy of your body and the energy of the earth to balance out. Let the energy reach its own stable resting point, your natural equilibrium. Allow the charges in your body and in the earth to harmonize, just easily and gently with your breath. Notice how your breath helps the energy flow. Notice the support, the love, the comfort that's available to you now. There's no need to push or pull the energy here. Just step aside and let it flow. Allow the earth energy to rise up your body right to your crown. Allow any unwanted energy or tension to flow off right through your feet. Let the nurturing presence of Mother Earth be with you now. Surrender all barriers and blockages to her magnificent love. You are so loved. Feel it now. Rest here for a moment. begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, bringing awareness back into the body, gently opening your eyes, and you can bring your hands down your legs, connecting you back into the earth, just sweeping that energy down your legs. And then bringing your hands facing your body, just to smooth off the energy around your body, that aura, the electromagnetic field that's right around you, just smoothing off that energy, that bubble around you, and just giving that energy a little pat. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, and I'd love to hear what you experienced in that meditation. So you can feel free to type it into the chat. Yeah, it was really, really nice. I felt a lot of energy running through me with that one. It's I do a lot of meditation, and so it's neat to see the rise and fall of the energy. But definitely when we gather together, either in person or later, there's an energy space that's held by uh, our collective focus. So it's always a nice thing to be together and meditate. I'd love to hear from Natalia. What did you experience?
Yeah, that was so lovely. I just love grounding meditations. I could feel so much energy and tingling at my feet, and I just always get the greatest visualizations during the grounding meditations. I just saw like the green earth and just like white roots just going far and beyond. So it was just really nice. It was nice, calming and grounding.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Malti says calming and relaxing. Thank you. Yeah, that's wonderful. Danielle, what did you experience?
Oh, I love the grounding meditations. I was have been in the self-isolation for the last couple of weeks because I just returned from out of country, and so I was very quiet those couple of weeks, and then the last 2 days I've shoved so much in, and then I was having computer issues getting onto this call, so just feeling a little bit scrambled. So this one was really nice, just kind of brought me back into the room and into the moment. It was interesting. It felt kind of like I was being held on like a lily pad in the water,
Mhm.
which is a different experience for me from my usual grounding, but I always love these ones that kind of just bring you back down. So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, I find you get the visual that you need, right? Of just, and that makes a lot of sense if you've had a lot of technical glitches, that that letting it flow and letting it go, and just like that, the element of water is also very grounding. And I love
Yeah,
how the visuals and the experience we get will change. You can do the same meditation over and over, and you can have a different experience every time. So, yeah,
absolutely.
thank
Thank you.
you. Josh says a deep, calming, peaceful energy, a quiet mind, no visions, just a sense of peace throughout. Well, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And Hedda, was a huge brown wave surging up and hitting the top of my head, true earth filling, rich earth. Yeah, so that like sort of that soil, that good soil that you want to plant all your seeds in. That's a really good one too. Um, Definitely now that it is a bit nicer, at least in our part of the world, it's a lot nicer outside, and there's more sunshine, and things are starting to warm up and green up. It's a lot easier to get that sort of grounding connection. And definitely the best way to ground is actually to be outside. If you're able to be outside, is even if it's just going and looking out the window at nature, at the trees around you, looking for little signs of spring. And if you can actually putting your hands in the earth and planting a garden or a few seeds, or even having a potted plant inside can bring that wonderful that wonderful nature into your day. And there's definitely that's a need. I think we need nature. She doesn't really need us, but we need her, and we always feel better when we have that connection. And so grounding meditations are ways of giving you that connection to the earth throughout the day. No matter what you're doing or where you are, you can do that visualization in an airplane if you were in an airplane, but I don't think many people are in airplanes right now. So which leads me to my topic, which is like, now that everything is disrupted, maybe you had these big dreams of what you wanted to create in the world, and maybe you're wondering, how do you move forward when there's been this disruption, or the disruption itself, even though it comes with a lot of hardship for a lot of people, and a lot of deep pain and loss. And that's definitely a big part of this, is navigating all of the losses. But underneath any loss or disruption, anything that is life-changing, and this is beyond life-changing what we're experiencing, this is world-changing, it also creates this turbulence and this shift in all of the energy, and it brings things that maybe have lain dormant to the surface. So dreams or things that you've always wanted to make or do. I find whenever we're faced with mortality, we start thinking about the meaning in behind our lives and what we want our lives to stand for. And sometimes there's this odd sort of loosening up of the control the ego mind had around us, so that we're more likely to reach towards our dreams or things that fulfill us or light us up, whether it's creative projects or ways of helping. We get all kinds of new ideas that get stirred up, and to really ride through this time, we need everybody working, bringing the best in them to the world. But the best inside you needs to be brought to the world, and everybody needs to do that, their own little part to shine their light, because this is such a big, immense thing. We can't rely on one or two people in a position of power to fix all of the things. We all have to group together and do each our own little part. I care a lot about the state of the world and the health and well-being of everybody. And times like these, I often find, are quite overwhelming. So I really think about everybody, anything that is beyond my control. I visualize the best and really focus on the helpers, knowing that there are people who it's their passion, their career to help in the ways that I am not able to help. But yet I have gifts and abilities to share with you, and you have gifts and abilities to share with me and other people as well. And if we each do our own little part, there's a collective awakening of everybody living in their best. Because if not now, then when? And it's now is the time to do that. And sometimes that can get very overwhelming from a lot of different ways. So one is, maybe you have the big vision and the dream, and you see that mountain ahead of you, and you go, phew. You just got the download from the universe of a lifetime of work, and you're sitting right at the very start of your path, and you're wondering, how on earth am I going to get all of that done? you know, maybe you have an idea for a novel or a book that you've always wanted to write, or some creative project that you wanted to bring into the world, or maybe healing work. Maybe you're called to be a Reiki practitioner or a Reiki teacher, or to share your gifts, skills, talents, and tools in some way. And and so but maybe you're just starting out, or maybe you're already on the path and you've had your the way you normally would help people has been disrupted because you can't put your hands on people anymore. So how do you help people when you can't touch them, if touch is a big part of how you help? And so that's one side of it. The other side of it is, what if you don't know what you want to do, but you feel a call? There's an energy within your heart and you're like, there's got to be something more, but I'm not sure what. And so it's being in that receptive, sort of open-handed, open-hearted state, and letting the universe, your guides, your divine team, however you have that connection with something greater than you, letting that information come in and give you signs bit by bit by bit. Either way, what's really fortunate is whether you're just starting out and you're not sure what your dreams are, or you're already well along the way in your helping, supportive, creative work. The solution is the same regardless of where you're at, because it's all a progression and a journey. There's no end to this, and there's no end to this deeper call and soul's work. It's something that will light you up for a lifetime if you let it. And so it's really about tapping into the energy and wisdom and guidance inside your heart, inside the deepest spark of light that you are. I got there through meditation and Reiki. That's my pathway in, to tap into this deeper wisdom. And then you ask for a little tiny baby step. So whatever that little tiny baby step is, and it might look like self-care. It might look like calling a friend. It might look like jotting down all of the notes of ideas you have. It might be putting together a creative project that has been sort of on the back burner, something you've always wanted to do, taking just a few minutes of your time and putting it towards that. Um, it's it's really about, you know, taking those divinely guided little tiny action steps. If you're not sure what path to take, it's asking, show me where to go next, show me how to help. um, really tapping into that knowing and wisdom within you, and allowing that wisdom to guide you to things that light you up, because if it lights you up, it'll light somebody else up. And we need all of the things. We need creativity, we need fun, we need joy, we need people to make us laugh, we need beautiful art. Like art is gonna mend us in ways that we didn't even know we were broken. And which you already know if you've ever listened to, say, a beautiful piece of music and it moved you beyond tears and then through the tears to this new healed whole place, you know, or that there is something cathartic about just making something for this joy and sake of making it, just sharing in some way of the way that you are able to share, and to really let, you know, pull all the stops out. So anything that might have been been a mental barrier to your progression and sharing in a bigger way, just give yourself permission to really give yourself permission to explore and to try and to um, and to share what it is that you do, what it is that lights you up. And because people need it, where their people are hungry for it, and there's so much openness, compassion, joy, and love out there right now, and deep appreciation for something that, even if what you make only is just to brighten somebody's day for 5 seconds. Oh, that's amazing. That could be like the little ray of sun breaking through the clouds, lighting up somebody's day if they're in a struggle. We really never really know the impact of the ripple of good that happens when we give ourselves permission to shine, and shine brightly, and to really let ourselves explore what it is that lights us up inside, and go with it and flow with it. Um, yes. Yes. Hedda says, I need to give myself permission to take time off and make music and art. Yes, please do. Yes. There's such a beautiful, I think you also said to return to balance and to be the greatest service. Yes. Um, yes, there's many ways of helping and supporting other people, and um, and following what lights you up inside is often the path through. And to take those little steps, even if you might feel nervous, you will generally feel better even if you take a tiny little step. One of the tools that I use is, I find sometimes I get nervous to share things, to do things, to reach people in a greater way with the work that I do. And when I feel those nerves, the first thing I do is I acknowledge that resistance and feeling nervous is a great sign that I'm on the right track, because what I'm doing has the capacity to change me. And so I celebrate that, and I do the thing anyway. The other thing is that when I just show up and I just take that very first little step, the little spark, the little breadcrumb that the universe has placed for me of just do this one thing next. Then when I go and I do that one thing next, it releases an energy. It inspires me. It gets me excited and in that creative mindset. And then I forget myself. I forget about myself. And I just am in the process and joy of making the thing, or sharing the thing, or helping a person, or doing a Reiki session. I've forgotten me, the little tiny me that is afraid of change. And I'm just in the joy of doing the work. And then I just do it. And then I just share it. And then I go on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. That's how I've done all of the things all of the way through. Just one little tiny baby step, one little breadcrumb, going from one little spark of light to another little spark of light. And then really using my heart, using meditation to tune in to guide me to where I need to be. One of the tools that I've been doing lately over the last little bit, because I've really noticed that my mind wants to be in control and wants to take charge of things, especially since there's been a pattern or rhythm established in the days now. Things have sort of settled into this new routine. And so my mind is going to just thinks that it can control the heck out of everything. And that is usually not a good place for me or really anybody to be. And so one of the things I've been doing is that anytime I get to a decision point, anytime I have to decide what to do in a moment, whether it's how to respond to a request or what I need to do in the next 5 minutes, I stop and I give myself 5 minutes of meditation or 5 minutes of self-healing and Reiki. And I just actually completely stop. And in that 5 minutes, it's neat because I either get confirmation that I was on the right track, or I have more clarity, or I'm sort of softer in my tone, or things are clearer. The biggest thing is that it's relieved that doubt of like, is this the right thing to do? Is this the right thing to do? This sort of back and forth thing is just sort of alleviated, and then I just sort of follow that, and I'm way more trusting of my forward movement because I've given myself that time to tap into my heart's wisdom. It seems like it would slow the process down, but it actually speeds things way, 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 way up. And I had um, I've had this problem, this sort of technological issue that I just was not able to figure out, and it just appeared. It wasn't direct. It wasn't immediate. It took a couple of days, but I promise you, if you do this for 3 days, of just anytime you're going to make a choice, whatever that choice is, stopping for 5 minutes, setting a timer on your phone and doing 5 minutes of meditation, it's amazing the path that you get led on. And it might be twisty turny, and it might not be a direct to your goal or where you think you're supposed to be, but you get led on this magical route, and everything gets so much brighter, better. Um, and a solution just sort of popped into my head that was kind of hovering right in front of my face for years, actually, way well beyond all of this. And it was just so simple and elegant. And my mind did not have access to that information. My mind tried really, really hard to find it. And my mind is very clever and smart and can figure out a lot of things. But it was only when I actually tapped into the heart space and really settled in to this more regular meditation practice, and and before I would, tuning into that guidance before any choice, that the solution appeared. I had to let go of it for a while, but it did float back through. So that's a really beautiful process to go on, especially if you are in that pathfinding phase of your big dreams. You kind of know that you want to do something like this, or something, in a sort of big wedge of life or creative pursuit, and you're not sure exactly which path to take. Tapping in and tuning in with meditation and Reiki can really help you course correct and pathfind through the wilderness that we're kind of all launched in. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. I'd love to hear what your thoughts, what your feedback is. Natalia, how do you feel about all of that?
Wonderful words. You said all of that amazingly, Geneva. I agree with a lot of that. I think for me personally, just going back to kind of just like the start of it all, like the impact, I feel like for me as a Reiki master and practicing practitioner, a lot of that came through the one-on-one personal sessions. So when you're talking about connecting with people and helping them through all that and like hands-on, I took great joy in that. And now that we've kind of had to halt that for a while, it's kind of, kind of reframing like how you go about doing that. And for me personally, like I always know, like my biggest thing is to help people connect to their mind and body. So, and there's much more than one pathway to that. So it's kind of opened up kind of a whole different world. And like you said, like the little baby steps too, we're just being there for somebody or talking them through a rough day. And I also find like the more that you kind of stick to what you feel you need, like the creating or taking self-care time kind of leads you there too. Like I feel like the people that are called to you will kind of show up. Like, I feel like also like what your gifts are, if you don't necessarily know quite yet, the universe and the people around you have a good way of showing you that. Like when people kind of talk to you, or like, you're really good at de-stressing a situation, or you're really good at calming people. Like you kind of hear those type of things. And in the comments too, with Hedda, she mentioned that she sold 3 paintings out of the blue, and that she was getting back to doing kind of the things that she loves to do as a hobby, or just for what have you. And I feel like that's very telling and so true, that when you do things that make you feel good, and that give you purpose, that in turn turns out to help people, however that looks like. So I thought that was really neat to kind of see that. And for me, that's kind of just what I'm doing as well right now. Just kind of be like, how can I still help people connect? There's still distance Reiki and things like that, but just still kind of doing all that. And it's neat. And it's quite a journey though too. But it's nice because this time also does give you time to relook at things and make it a little bit more global, or maybe not if you're not there yet, but just kind of show that next step or a new opportunity that maybe you never thought of or presented before. So
Yeah.
it's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all being called to be creative. So if
Mm-hmm.
how we helped people or what we did was in person, and we're sort of temporarily held back from being in person with others, it's getting creative and asking those questions of like, with the skills, tools, and talents I have, how can I use those to help? and and in what way can I do something that might be meaningful for people? I bought a whole bunch of masks from a local quilter who turned her quilting hobby into a mask making hobby to make non-medical masks, and
Oh, so neat.
they're great. They fit really well and they're really nice, and it was really nice to support somebody who was taking a skill set that they had, and that she obviously enjoys it, and she had a big quilting stash already, and really applying that and putting that to work. There's all kinds of ways that we can contribute and help and help others and heal, and to really guard against the dismiss. Sometimes our inner critic can be kind of mean and loud and can dismiss, is like, oh well, I just messaged all of my friends and sent them emoji hearts, and we can sometimes dismiss that, like that's a way of helping, and how
Right.
like that might be, you never know, like receiving a little emoji heart from somebody could make all of the difference. It could be the thing that pulls people out of a really dark place. You have no idea. But when I absolutely know that when you tap in and you follow that call or that inspiration, no matter how tiny it might seem at the time, it may not seem like it's like you're changing the world, but that is the only way the world has ever changed, is one little tiny action at a time. It is the cumulative actions of many people which is helping us flatten this curve and everything. It's like all of the little tiny things. It seems so unspectacular. It's like, how can you help? Stay home and wash your hands. Like it really is that simple. And once you're getting used to doing all of those simple things that have a really big impact, there's you end up with the often, sometimes some of us have a lot of time in our hands and it's sort of like you've exhausted the Netflix, everything you've wanted to watch, everything you've wanted to read, and you get to this blissful boredom where you're tired of consuming the products of other people's creation, and that you want to then do something of your own. And if you if you just sort of tap into what that might be and just follow it up, even if it seems strange or weird or a side tangent. I ended up finishing a creative project, making Reiki tarot cards. I had
Whoa.
sketched it out. I made the demo deck. I sketched it out probably about 4 or 5 years ago, and I was like, I just want these for me. And I just sat down one day, just like last week, and I just made them. I
That's
just made
so
them.
cool. I'm
And
excited to see them.
it's so neat because I had in my head this picture of it being like, maybe I hire an artist to do them, and I could see these like really beautiful visions. And I had sketched out the pictures and the themes for all of these 90 cards.
Oh.
And I had done that like years ago, and then I just closed the book and I didn't do anything with it. And then I just like, in these little moments of meditation, it just sort of guided me, and I was just like, I want to do that. Like, that's what I want to do today. I don't want to do any of the other things. That's what I want to do today. And so I did it, and it's been really, really neat because it feels like, it wasn't until I finished that Reiki deck that I got my solution to my technological problem. So it was like, there's a weird little order. It's like, no, you can't figure out this until you do this. It's like, you have to do this thing first, and then this other thing will happen. And so there's this sort of falling into this divine order, um, which isn't always linear. Most of the time isn't linear. It's going to take you on this very organic path, this path of least resistance, like the twisting, winding route up the mountain. And if you follow it and flow with it, not only will the journey be very interesting and very beautiful and fulfilling, it'll be a whole heck of a lot easier than trying to like barrel your way up through the mountain, bushwhacking the whole way. It's like your guides and angels are like, don't you see this? Like, there's a nice little cute path you could take. It's got switchbacks, and it's like this thing with switchbacks up the mountain is a metaphor that I really cling to, is because when you're walking towards your goal, most of the time you're walking across the mountain, and there's only these brief little windows where you feel like you're pointing towards it, and then you turn the corner and then you walk across your crossways, right? And if you trust that those little dipsy doodles are actually leading you where you want to be in the most elegant, effortless way possible, and flow with it and just let yourself go with it, I find things materialize much faster. So that's been my experience.
Totally. I'll just say one little thing there too, like the divine order, like I've totally given in and surrendered to that. So for anybody who's like listening or just kind of like catches this at a different time too, like if you feel like you're not doing much or productive, you're exactly where you're meant to be, because I have gone through that wave where you get an energy surge and then it's like, oh, but I've just spent weeks kind of just focusing on myself. Like it's all meant to happen how it happens. And then, like you said, these creative, ingenious kind of creative ideas pop up when you're like, oh, but I feel like sometimes had you not given yourself time to recharge, you just wouldn't be ready or kind of ready to kind of explore that. So yeah, divine order is an interesting timeline, but
It is.
I personally have learned to surrender to that and not feel bad. And also, like when you were speaking to it, kind of sparked up when people are like, well, I don't know what my thing is. All I do is this, or all I do is this, or I only draw, or I only do that. That's exactly where your starting point is, and it'll lead you to wherever that path is meant to lead. So yeah, that was interesting, funny, a little bit funny. I find the universe humorous with their divine order. So
Yes.
I just had to say that.
Exactly. Thank you for sharing that. Danielle, how does that all sit with you? Do you have anything to add in there?
Um,
Hmm.
I really like that. I like the idea of taking a few minutes just to kind of step back and fall into it. I know this is a conversation that you and I have had a few times about looking at the mountain and feeling overwhelmed and going, oh, if I can't be on a stage helping 1,000 people in a big way all at one time, then I'm not doing it right, or I'm not doing enough. And so I think the reminder is nice to, um, if you can brighten somebody's day just for 5 seconds, like you said, it's one person at a time. It's, just shining that light in a way for you're helping other people. I don't know, it's those tiny baby steps, and one at a time, and following that path. Like you said, following the switchbacks, it's not straight up the mountain. It's not, you wouldn't think it's the quickest way to the top, but it's really the path of least resistance. You're going to get there easier. Things become possible faster. So I really like that. It's a good reminder just to step back, take a few minutes, allow yourself to tap into that inner guidance, and be led on that magical journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. We've got a few comments here. So Josh says, perfect timing always feels late. Like, oh, I feel that. I feel that a lot. Yeah, that there's our time and divine timing, and but that divine timing and that perfect timing, actually, I've been really embracing this idea that that there's a benefit to delays, that while you're waiting for things to materialize and manifest and that sort of thing, is that in that those waiting times, there's often this sort of ordering of other people bringing resources, bringing ideas to you. There's a whole bunch of things and that happen in those sort of yin, restful, surrendered moments, and that's a really big teacher right now. Is that we've all had to be patient and to let things happen and wait, um and so it's while we're waiting, doing that in a surrendered way, in a way that is um respectful of that sort of gathering that needs to happen for the creative process to take effect, um because yeah, there's definitely there's two sides to any creative process. So one is the active part that everybody can see. So you've made the thing and you've shared it and you posted it, and then people can interact with it, or appreciate it, or get benefit, or buy the thing, or uh, receive the session, healing session, or whatever it is. That's the yang part, the active part. The yin part is the pondering, the thinking, the doing random creative side projects, the going for walks in the forest, doing your own healing work, being still in meditation. And we need that because that is ultimately the fuel for creativity. So it's really fascinating for me because I feel like this drawn, we've been sort of forced to be drawn inward and to be still. And for me, that is always the beginning part of a creative process. It's sort of like the baby has to incubate in the womb before it can be given birth to. The seed has to germinate in the soil before it can bear fruit. And there's a process to that. There's a natural flow. It is creation is part of nature, and it follows, and we need to respect nature's cycles with the creative process. And so some of that will look is the part that we'll be able to see and enjoy, and but the very important part, like the germination of the seed. If the seed doesn't germinate in the soil, then you can't go forward, right? And but that's the part that we can't see. We can't see that it's happening, but we have to trust that it is, and that if you wait, the only solution is waiting, nourishing that little seedling with light and love and all of the things that it's going to need to grow and thrive. being gentle with our new little seedling sprouts of creativity while they're brand new. We need all of those things to bring things to fruition. So, yes, thank you. And Hedda says, which is more of a healing question. I find that most of my clients just need to pour all their pain out, especially PTSD. I'm learning compassion without being eaten up. And I just wanted to touch on that because I think that is really important when you are called to help, particularly in a healing helper role, either as an energy worker or other holistic therapies, is that there is a lot of, I mean, there's always been a lot of pain and trauma in the world. That's nothing new, but there's definitely a lot of trauma and pain that has been stirred up by the impacts of the virus itself, and also all of the other sort of bigger ripples of that there might be many people who are having their trauma be reactivated or things sort of stirred up. And so what if you are in a healing sort of helping role with people, it's very important to double or triple up your self-care. So whatever you were doing before, try to think about doing 3 times as much. Grounding by quite a lot, and then visualizing a rainbow aura around your body as just sort of a matter of fact thing. And just to regular self-care, there's something about putting that rainbow on that can help act as this filter between you and other people, but it also keeps you in that sharp energetic space where you can still be in that compassionate zone without absorbing. And there are a few other Reiki tools and techniques as well. I'm really getting into that Reiki hazmat suit pretty much for all of the sessions. And in my Reiki courses, we talk about that in level 3. So that can really help, but definitely following up with your own self-care and taking time off if you need time off, because there's benefits to that, and big problems need a very big team. So cultivating a list of a referral list or a free resources and supports list as well for your clients is really important. So so I refer out people a lot to other therapies and resources because I find it works all together. And so definitely all of those things, but definitely if you're helping other people, it starts with your own well-being. And so and throughout this from the very beginning, I've really amped up my own self-healing practice, and that has allowed me to stay pretty clear and really clear in the sessions that I do with people, and it just sort of boosts up what I can do, but also knowing that I'm still a human being, and as we all are, and that we have our own stuff to manage and cope with, and so it's really riding that balance between self-care and helping others, and that really helping others is driven by your own healing process. So when you are well, then you can help other people. You don't have to be completely healed. You do not have to be completely perfect. You can help from where you are within the capacity that you have, but knowing what are the things that are sort of non-negotiable self-care, and sort of knowing when you need to take a little bit of a rest and set boundaries maybe with people. And so I've been really cautious to not increase my work hours too much, because I am doing a lot of other things and learning a lot of other things. So I haven't expanded my appointment times. So that's something to think about as well, is maybe just doing a few less appointments throughout the week as well, so that you can get your self-care time in. Just like with our hand washing, we have to spend extra time like washing in between activities. And so maybe, doing the same thing of giving yourself a little bit more time energetically in between clients or sessions, so that you can reset and regroup. And that might be different from what you were able to do before. And that's just the way it is. So that's okay. So yes, thank you. Yes, wonderful. Thank you. So one of the things I'd like to share is just read a little bit from this book, You Can Create an Exceptional Life by Louise Hay and Cheryl Richardson. There's these lovely people. Louise Hay passed away a number of years ago, and Cheryl Richardson is a coach, and they've written a number of really great resource books, including this one they wrote together. And I just want to share a little piece of it because I thought it was very on point. So this is from a conversation between Louise and Cheryl. So Louise says, yes, today, so many people want fast success. But when we're on the spiritual path and responding to what life presents us, I think the most powerful work we do happens gradually over time. It's almost as though we don't realize it's happening. We look back and think, oh my, look at all that. And Cheryl says, in addition to measured and steady success, I was noticing other key recurring themes while listening to Louise's spiritual journey. Simplicity, focusing on small, simple, and manageable steps instead of making things complicated. Optimism, putting attention and energy towards solutions rather than focusing on problems. Patience, experiencing the journey fully and consciously rather than rushing to achieve a particular result. Trust, learning to trust life by seeing the perfection and opportunity for growth in all our experiences. And growth, viewing life as a classroom where we use our experiences as catalysts for change and self-realization. Service, focusing more on how we can best encourage and assist those in need, as opposed to getting lost in our own personal vision and quest for success. Action, making a commitment to show up and walk through the doors that life opens for us on our journey. Faith, being willing to take chances and keep moving forward without knowing the outcome. It's always an interesting one. And then the last one she has here is magnetism, developing and tapping into the ability to attract what we need by putting and keeping ourselves in the right state of mind. So, and yeah, it's really a beautiful little book for you if you're interested in that. And I really agree with all of those things. I think it's life is the life is all of the little tiny actions that we take repeatedly. It is all of those little tiny moments, and if you choose all of those little moments with an eye on gratitude, on service, on being hopeful and filled with faith, that it leads you to this beautiful, random, weird life. And it sometimes I find your life purpose is something that you see in hindsight. And when this all started, I looked back over my entire life and I felt like every single experience was putting me exactly in this place. This is where I needed to be. And I needed all of those experiences, including the painful ones, including the ones that I would rather have not had. All of those experiences led me to here, where I feel like I can be in my greatest service to all of you. And that's sort of a magical place to be, but it also was uh it was a random weird path to be here, right? As life always is. Um so yes, and the way that I get into that space of knowing and following the divine path, is meditation. And so we'll do a meditation that I call activating divine will. And it's all about the solar plexus chakra, which is, right in the center of our belly. And it's that place within us where our sort of spark of divine light, or our sort of action center, is. And by syncing up our solar plexus chakra energy, our center for taking action in the world, in our abdomen, when we sync up with that, with the divine will, so the overarching sort of guidance for our life, magical and beautiful things happen. So we'll do that. So you can begin by sitting up straight, and you can bring your hands to your belly, your solar plexus chakra, and just gently closing your eyes. The solar plexus is the center of your energy, the spark of divine light within you. Breathe gently. Connect to the warmth below your hands. Feel the energy in your solar plexus begin to glow brighter and brighter. Feel that internal warmth glow brightly like the sun. Connect to this divine part of your identity. Let this space get bigger and brighter now. This is the center of your personal power. It is your individuality in the world. Your solar plexus houses your unique and needed contribution to the world. It contains your deepest desires and longings. Connect now to the divine solar plexus, the solar plexus of the universe itself. Feel the solar plexus center of the universe. Feel the strength, love, and beauty of this divine will. Feel the generosity and kindness. Your solar plexus and the divine solar plexus are always connected. Allow the solar plexus of the divine and your solar plexus to connect even more deeply. feel the certainty that lives here. Feel the strength and support. Feel the love and generosity of the divine pour into you now, filling you up, shining through every cell. Feel the radiance flow through each part of you. Let this vast, loving, and powerful energy wash over you now. Let it fill and illuminate every part of your mind, body, emotions, thought, and spirit. You are completely illuminated and completely connected to divine will. Deep within you, there's an energy calling to you. This energy leads you toward what you desire most in the world. You may already know what this deep desire is, or you may have the desire to know what you desire. This desire could be for an experience, a feeling, or material wealth and abundance. Whatever you want, whatever rises to the surface of your mind now, allow yourself the space to know that your desire is allowed. You are allowed to want this. Know that you could only access the thought of this desire now if it was truly and completely aligned with your Dharma, your divine path, your purpose for being on this planet. You are allowed to want this. You already have access to the vibration of your deep desire. This feeling is already drawing it to you now. Your desire is already fulfilled. It is already true for you. You already have it. Really feel it. See and feel the moment of having your desire. See and feel your life with everything you are wanting as real and being part of your everyday experience. Allow the reality of this experience to sink into your soul. Now allow the image and feeling of your desire to get even better. Imagine it better than that. Imagine it 10 times better. Even more. You are allowed this level of happiness, abundance, joy, health, vitality, and ease. You can have this too. This is allowed. This is how the universe sees you. Whatever that you desire, the universe wants it for you more. The universe can imagine it better and better. The universe thrills in giving you this and more. It loves surprising you with all the beauty and creativity that it can give you. Allow this experience to grow and expand. Feel the certainty that lives here. Feel the support. Feel the strength and love of the divine pour into you, filling you up, shining through every cell. Feel the radiance flow through each part of you. Take a deep breath. Bring your awareness back into your room. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. You can bring your hands down your legs, connecting back into the flow of support below you, and then sweeping your hands through and around your aura, just with your hands facing your body, just smoothing off that energy right near your body, giving it a nice little pat. When you're ready, you can open your eyes, and I'd love to hear what you experienced in that meditation. I'll share what I experienced. I definitely felt my hands heat up, and I felt this like sun energy in my solar plexus, and I felt like the divine solar plexus was like the sun, and it was just sort of melting into me. And it was interesting because I could feel little bits of resistance to um, receiving good things in my life. And I just felt like the light was just like steady, and it's like, no, you're allowed. Like, you can let this in. This is okay to have. It's okay to receive and do fulfilling work. It felt very steady and certain, and at the very end it felt like there was just this pillar of light going all the way through me, just sort of settling everything in. So but I feel very centered, very settled, and I feel quite strong. I feel kind of like a She-Ra, Wonder Woman kind of moment. So which is a really nice feeling, especially because sometimes uh, the world events are so big, and sometimes it can make me feel so small. And this meditation, I just feel like I can do this. I got this. It's good. I'll just keep on doing my little part and shining my little light and helping in whatever way I can. Yeah, that's what I experienced. Natalia, how did that go for you?
So lovely. I just felt like so warm. I think with that yellow glow and just like the sun or something, it just always connects so nice. Yeah, I just felt like I was like sitting, and I felt like I had this yellow kind of glow in my belly, and just kind of a feeling of being connected. I love how like the meditations always connect you, but it felt like I was sitting watching the greater kind of like sunset or like the horizon, but there was like a line that connected. Like I had like the mini sunset and horizon in my own, like my own version of it in my belly, and it just felt
Mm.
like just like this like sunshine just like beating like rays just down on me, so it just felt really nice.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Thank you. Hedda says, my bubble grew huge, white, then a green layer, and with each breath, a burst of violet fire. Ah, that sounds amazing. Thank you for sharing. Bia says, I felt like the divine solar plexus was the sun too. It felt huge, like the sun was just kilometers from the earth in a gentle way. There was a sense of trust at the end, that the direction I'm going is somewhere in me, and that I am where I am meant to be. Thank you. Thank you. That's wonderful. Danielle, what did you experience?
Wow, that one was wonderful. It was really interesting
Yes.
for
There we go.
me. It felt kind of a parental relationship almost, like the city yellow ball.
Oh, it's cutting in and out.
In reversals, you know, it's over. I'm sorry, I have a bad connection again.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. It's also could be all of the piles of energy in your in your solar plexus, and energy and technology doesn't always go hand in hand sometimes. So we can hear you now though.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
that's good. But yeah, very much like just this kind of this child inquisitiveness. And it was interesting because I also had kind of that Shira moment of like, I can do this. This is okay. And yeah, just taking that step, that tiny baby step inside to see what those desires are. So yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. Yes. I love that. Thank you. Thank you both for sharing. Thank you everybody for sharing and being here with all of us. Yeah, I definitely feel very warm after activating the sun inside my belly. So, but yeah, I I highly recommend dropping into a few moments of meditation, really breaking things down into tiny little baby steps as you go through, and capturing all of the weird little random ideas that you have. Your mind, your creative centers might just be percolating and bubbling with all kinds of ideas. Um, so definitely keeping a journal or a notebook or a sketchbook nearby, to capture things as they pop into your head. I really like having a notebook and doing some meditation and then doing a bit of writing or free writing afterwards. And I find that those two processes can really tap me in into what my next little tiny baby steps are, and just staying really present with whatever your next steps are, and knowing that a step is a step and forward is forward. And so we don't have to do it all in one go. We can't do it all in one go. It's all about just showing up and doing a little bit, and taking rests and breaks as you need to. We're all in this for the long haul. So begin when you can and where you can, and then do your own healing work to stay steady with things as you go. So thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for being big dreamers, for sharing your experiences and for being present either live or later. Love to hear more from you. Thank you so much to Natalia and Danielle for being here. Did either of you have anything to share before we close off? Natalia, did you want to have any parting words or comments?
Not so much anything new, but just like, yeah, that was amazing. And it was a great, I mean, the energy is always good as always with all of these calls, but it was just nice to be a part of it and to share with everyone again and feel the energy. And yeah, it was just nice to connect.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And Danielle, did you have anything to add or share?
Yeah, kind of the same as what Natalia said. It's really nice to be together in these little groups, to take that moment to sit and ground and come back, and just the nice reminders of, you know, shine your light, take a minute, tap into that guidance and follow your joy, follow those calls. And yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much, Geneva.
Thank you. Thank you both for being here. Thank you for everybody. It was really nice to join together. You can catch the replay on the LunaHolistic blog, and there are also some other guided meditations and resources on the resources page on the lunaholistic.com website. So check those out. There's also a free, on the resources page is a link to a free chakra-based business building course that I put together, and it's called Magnetic Manifesting with the Energetic 8. It's a totally free course, and they're all short little lessons, 3 to 7 minutes, and little assignments. So if you are in the process of creating something, a business or any of your creative projects, that is a really good place for you to get acquainted with how I use the chakras to build all of the things that I like to build. So the Luna Holistic Center, the Reiki classes, everything I do runs on the energy of all of the chakras, including the solar plexus chakra. So you can please do check that out if that's something that you would like to learn more about. And we'll just close that off, everything off. I like to do a nice big global hug. So we'll just hug everybody that's here, expand out a little bit to welcome in more people into our circle, and even back way even bigger so that it feels like you are hugging the whole world, the whole planet within your arms, really feeling that hug back. Yay. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for shining your light. Keep going and tuning in to that divine spark of guidance within you and taking those guided little baby steps. Thank you all, and we'll see you next time.